Hello, good day, and I hope you're doing okay wherever you are. And if you're not doing okay, just let someone know. Now, I know people don't really care, but just maybe let someone know that at least feigns that they care. Just tell them, oh, look, this is what's happening to me. But anyway, what I want to speak about today is this concept of thinking that grown ups have the answers or they know a lot of things. They know all the right answers. When we were kids, when we were younger, when I was growing up, you know, um, as a kid, we had people that came to visit us, and in fact, there was a particular chair that we termed visitors chair. Yeah, there's a particular chair we called visitors chair because it was kind of close to the entrance door of our parlor. And so whenever they came in, that was the first one that they will have access to. And so they will normally sit down there. Anytime they came in, they were always adults. In fact, we almost imagined that the term visitor meant adults. Because, of course, we had friends that were our contemporaries in age. And then if they came to see us, we would not consider them visitors. We would consider the grown-ups that came to see our parents visitors. And so when they came around and they sat down there and they went in to call our parents that someone was looking for them, we would always look at them like these grown-ups are having discussions of premium quality. We would always think that these people really knew what they were doing. This is not a slight to our parents or to my parents in particularly. But you would really think that they had answers. You may not even know that the so-called visitors may have come to even complain about the situation, whether it was in their businesses, in their employment, in their marriages, in their health, whatever. They always had challenges. But whenever we saw them, we just felt, oh, these people were grown-ups. These people were custodians of complete knowledge. And of course, we looked at our parents as heroes. They woke up and they had all the answers. Then you grow up and then you start finding out that you are now the grown-up that younger people are greeting as uncle or as auntie. And within yourself that you don't have all the answers. Sometimes when I see kids greet me, I would almost want to wonder who they are greeting. And I would almost want to tell them also, don't look up to me with a nice smile, of reverence. Yes, of course, we all like respect, but as the days go by, and especially if you are one to have a humble disposition towards life, you would tend to understand that we're all just here trying to figure out everything, or at least figure out the most important things in our lives, figure out where our health is leading us to, figure out where our finances are leading us to, figure out where our relationships, both personal and otherwise, are leading us to. And we always just try to play catch up with the realities of life. Now, of course, if you spend a lot of time studying, either through books, podcasts, on the internet, or asking people in specific fields who have knowledge in something, you will tend to have some of the answers. In other words, you may not have a lot of the challenges that your average contemporary will have. What I'm trying to say is, even as I am now an adult, of course, by looking at me, you would know that I don't even qualify to be a president of any country. Of course, apart from Ibrahim Traore, that is a millennial, most presidents are old people. And sometimes when I see them have their G8 and G7 and G21 and all manner of Gs, you will think that they have answers that they're making up there. You will not understand that these people are just a collection of biased grown-ups. Now again, because they look like those are our uncles and those are our visitors, that always look like they had answers to everything, I would still think, in fact, prior to this time, I would have thought that they had answers to the situation of the world. But I had to sit myself down only recently and I tell myself, oh, am I still having the same situation I had when I was younger, when I used to see grown-ups, probably in their 30s or 40s, come see my parents, and then I thought that they had answers to life? Am I still having that kind of situation, even in this my age, in this day and time, thinking that these so-called presidents and leaders have the answers to the world? Now, this is not a video or an expose on trying to tongue lash these leaders. The purpose of this video is to encourage us as citizens, whatever age grade or age group we fall under, we should learn to sink our feet more into studying, into more knowledge, into more unbiased observations. We need, it is compulsory that we enlighten our minds with proper knowledge, because we can't keep on thinking that these leaders have all the answers, right? One day we would grow up into these positions, into our 60s, and then we'll find out that we do not have the answer. We would not have the answers by that time, and so we'll just repeat a particular cycle. And also, as we are grown-ups, we should not, in as much as the younger children or the kids tend to think we have the answers to life, we should not necessarily raise our shoulders up, making them believe that we have all the answers. It is good, it is wise, it is advisable to sit down with these kids and tell them, hey, look, I don't have all the answers. In other words, we should be vulnerable enough to explain that we don't have all the answers, and that but we are in a continuous pursuit of knowledge. In other words, we are like Blackberry's parent body will call themselves. We are like research in motion. We keep improving ourselves daily. It's a daily work on ourselves, and advise them to improve themselves daily. They should not imagine that we have the answers, whether we are their parents or their uncles or the alleged visitors that had all the answers that came to see our parents when we were young. That way, we would build a society that is very knowledge-based. Because when we are kids, we are ignorant. We hope that the grown-ups in their 40s, in their middle ages, have the answers. And when we grow up to our middle ages, we believe that the people in power who are in their 60s and 70s and sometimes 80s have all the answers. They don't have the answers. We don't have the answers. The kids don't have the answers. And so it almost seems as though society is just a conglomerate of ignoramuses. But it shouldn't be so. We should learn to be very, very knowledge-driven. We should constantly and continuously read and search for more knowledge, healthy knowledge, not just random nonsense on the internet, right? So that when we meet challenges, we can actually solve them, instead of having a world, a planet, a globe that is continuously and constantly sick and getting worse and worse, because the next generation is hoping on us. We can't afford to be hoping on the next generation that's ahead of us, right? Thank you.